Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is the greatest time of the day. From the center of the universe, New York City, it's the main event you've been waiting for. It's time to go in the cage with Cyclone.
And for the 34th time, your Messiah has come home. Had to think how many times I've done this now. I'm getting, my mental stuff isn't so good as it used to. Which is cool because 34 is Kirby Puckett's own jersey number. Want to remind all you guys, CycloneComedy.com, Psyche Prods on Facebook. Enter a raffle. It would behoove you to enter a raffle, so this way you could really win some cool stuff. Obviously, I'm going to ask this again. Click share, pretty please share. And got a really nice thing right off the top. See this glove right here? Effective Aggression, signed in person, Aquaman Cast. It'll be up on Effective Aggression by the end of the week. Check it out. Purchase it. And all the monies on this beautiful site go straight to charity. It's something, be a good person. If you know someone that likes comic book movies, this is a perfect Christmas gift to get them. Aquaman Cast. Jason Momoa right up here. Amber Heard across the middle. Patrick Wilson and James Wan, the director. Anyways, getting to the show. Second straight week of a crazy boxing card. Boxing is on an uptick. We're going to be talking women. Yes, the normally chauvinistic, anti-feminist me. It's women today. All about the ladies. It's ladies' night in the cage. Wish I had a couple ladies in the cage, but that's a whole other thing that'll get me into more trouble. And we're going to start this whole shing-ding off right after this.
This is Frank Edgar.
This is the Barbarian Tim Bosch.
I'm World Series of Fighting undefeated lightweight champion Justin Gaethje.
MMA legend, UFC Hall of Famer, Iceman. Chuck it up. And if you got the guts, step in the cage with Cyclone.
Okie dokie. So let's recap really fast what went down this week. One Championship 86 went down, and the thing about One Championship is you guys have to get invested in watching that company. Every fight all the time is crazy. And now you have to be more invested because Eddie Alvarez is there. Sage Northcutt is there. Demetrius Johnson is there. It's going to be that much better. But every fight on this card this past weekend over there was, to borrow a Jim Ross wrestling phrase, was a slobber knocker. It was like a Pier 6, 7, and 8, and 9 brawl, all mixed into one. But there was one standout performance, at least as far as I'm concerned. Cameron Abasov was like like a python, like an anaconda, like a tiger playing with its food against Aguilan Teki, who was in his hometown of Malaysia. Crowds all for him, and he got toyed with. And that, my friends, is video clip number 1.
Back in Tani up against the cage, uppercuts.
Big hand coming early here from Abasov.
Big change of levels by Tani, but Abasov able to shrug him off.
And Tani, and puts him back down. Left hook to a right hand. Tani's got to get off the fence here. Oh, Abasov with the elbow. Tani in trouble. Tani in big trouble. Tani in trouble. This is over surely now. It is over.
Timber down to the back he goes. Look at that. He goes palm to palm with the choke. Chin. Arm is right underneath the chin. Nice and tight with the rear naked choke. Tani is forced to tap or take a nap.
I told you. It was like his dinner because of the, well, actually it would have been his breakfast, East Coast time. When you get toyed with like that, that has to be like the most defeating feeling possible. Now, if you remember last week, Tom Sconzo sat right here in this very chair. He did. And we talked about bad refereeing, bad officiating. How can it stop? What can we do about it? Because Lord knows, every once in a while, a ref has an off night. Well, at One Championship 86, man, talk about a bad night officiating. Joe Phipp had he ref like 5 fights on the card, and it progressively got worse for him. If he was in the UFC, doing a UFC card, I'm afraid to think what Dana White would have said about him. I think Dana might have done a reverse Khabib, jumped into the cage and just beaten the piss out of him. He was that bad with his calls. And actually that was in LFA 56. I apologize. Not paying attention to what I'm doing.
Anytime Joe Phipps, but Moda back on his feet, takes another shot, he's down, over, in,
He's starting
out.
to step in to stop it, and then back out.
Apparently
Stop the
not.
fight. Stop the fight.
Fans are booing here in Minnesota. This is a joke. He's not
Stop
defending
the
himself.
fight.
What do you want? Oh! Now! Over and out. Unnecessary beatdown, no.
Wow.
You gotta be kidding me. Cody Donovan going off on Joe Phipps, and he
I'm
deserves
going to go
it.
off on Joe.
You gotta be kidding me.
I told you, man alive, what a... First of all, you gotta feel for Austin Hubbard for that pounding he took. But Jesus H. Mary effing Christ, that Joe Phipp has to be brought in. There has to be some sort of a penalty when a referee sees a fighter go down and just gets murked beyond belief. Now that's the bad. Let's talk about some good, huh? Cage Warriors 100. There's not one, but there are 2 brand spanking new champions. Their new bantamweight champion is Jack Shore, who is, I don't want to say the next big thing, but he is hyped beyond recognition. And he has the skill set on the ground and in stand-up to, shall we say, make the jump a certain other Irishman made from Cage Warriors. Look, I know like Paddy Pimblett said, don't ever compare me to Conor McGregor. But the fact of the matter is, after Conor became Cage Warriors' first 2-division champ, Paddy Pimblett became their next 2-division champ. It's hard to not compare when you're following exactly what the guy before you did. There was talk about Paddy coming to the UFC. Obviously, he hasn't yet. Jack Shore, on the other hand, he'll be coming. He'll be coming around a mountain. And that mountain ends at the UFC's door. I don't think he'd go to Bellator, but I think the big guys will sign him. And also their brand spanking new featherweight champion, Dean Truman. Another kid who, I don't want to say he's a complete fighter, but he's better at stand-up. His striking is precision. When he throws punches, it's like a car piston, just ba-bam, 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 ba-bam. One championship, LFA, Cage Warriors. You see where I'm going with this stuff all the time? You guys have to start watching stuff besides just the UFC and Bellator. And speaking of the UFC, 231. Now look, I'm going to get into pre-231 in a little while, but how do we not talk about how freaking dangerous Thiago Santos is, going from 185 to 205. Daniel Cormier is lucky he's retiring when he is. Santos is 2 fights away, I want to say, maybe 3, from possibly challenging for a championship. John Jones could beat him right now. Maybe Gustafsson could beat him now too. In less than a year's time? I don't know. I mean, you're talking, this guy is a brick wall and as powerful as, I don't even know what to compare it to. He's that freaking, he's like the Brazilian version of He-Man. Remember the He-Man cartoon? If you took He-Man and turned him into a Brazilian, that's Thiago Santos. It is. He is danger freaking us. Gunnar Nelson slicing Cowboy Oliveira's face wide open. And truth be told, I was going to, have the video clip of it, but it's just too gory. Look, short elbows do a lot of damage. When they slice your face wide open and it takes 29 stitches to close your face, Gunny Nelson is back. That's all I got to say, man. You got Nina Ansarov putting on a clinic against Claudia Gadelha. Geez, Claudia on paper, with her always moving forward, her power from both hands, you figure she would have put a hole into Nina. And somehow Nina has, somehow the luck of the Irish is the only way to put it. Because ever since she told Amanda Nunes that one more loss, she's going to retire, she's gone on a winning streak. Geez, if I said, okay, no more shows, I'm done, unless I get an Oscar or an Emmy. I mean, I'm not getting an Oscar or an Emmy anytime soon. And I know that. Because I'm not Irish. I don't have that luck. Nina, I mean, look, Nina was like win one, lose one, win one, lose one. She was a mediocre fighter, and now all of a sudden she's on this freaking roll. So congrats, Nina. Jessica Ai has, at least as far as I'm concerned, has absolutely cemented herself as number one contender for that female flyweight championship. And talking about putting on clinics, that's what Valentina did. And look, Joanna was the smaller fighter. Valentina not only had the size, and don't give me this, oh, she beat her 3 times in Muay Thai 10 years ago. That doesn't mean diddly squat. What happened a decade ago. The fact of the matter is, Joanna got beat by a bigger, better, complete fighter. And she put on a clinic. Not as bad as the clinic that Max Holloway put on freaking Brian Ortega, but poor Brian, man. He got exposed bad. And I don't know if how you guys felt when you guys watched, but as I was watching it live, the first thing that went through my mind was, quite frankly, Max Holloway's pulling a little bit of a third Diaz brother. Hands down, open hand, slap, open meat hook like that. What the hell? Totally exposed Brian. Now look, Brian's going to bounce back. We all know that. On the ground, he is absolutely deadly. But he got exposed. And the fact of the matter is that he got beat so bad and he kept coming. It's like that scene in like Rocky 2 where Apollo's manager is saying, look, babe, we don't need none of this guy no more. I won, but you don't think I won. Look, I saw you hit that guy with everything you had, and he kept coming. That's what Brian Ortega did. He got hit with everything Max threw. Nothing missed. Nothing was partially deflected. Everything hit solid. And he kept coming. Brian Ortega is a dangerous SOB. But he got exposed. And as far as Max being considered as the featherweight GOAT, I'll get into that next week. See, in the business, that's what we call a tease. I'm letting you know what'll happen next week. Second weekend of fighting, Vasily Lomachenko beating Jose Pedraza. Now look, as far as I'm concerned, Loma is the best fighter pound for pound, as far as boxing is concerned, on this planet. MMA fighters in every organization look to this guy for guidance. He fights like he's the Matrix with his moves. But on Saturday, I mean, look, his left hand was landing consistently. And in the 11th round, he did manage to put Pedraza onto a knee twice. I mean, obviously, he won a unanimous decision. He unified the lightweight belts, the WBA, the WBO belts. But he didn't look as crisp as Lomachenko normally does. Rumor has it that he's moving up a division. If he does now, or if he does after he completely unifies the titles, he better not have and I don't want to say bad performance like this, because Pedraza is a solid fighter. I mean, was WBO champ up until Saturday night, but you can't, if you're going to have a dud of a night, save those duds for the gym, for the training sessions, not showtime. No, Rudy, I don't think Joanna is done, but I'll get into that a little bit later too. I promise you, and I'm actually working on a story about the whole female situation. I'm turning into like this I'm like the male version of Gloria Steinem right now. You know, Isaac Dogba, otherwise known as Niho. Look, if you guys don't know, Isaac is from Ghana originally, and he has a posse of about 45 people walking up and down the streets of Manhattan all week long last week, screaming behind him, Niho, Niho. It was the damnedest thing I've ever seen, and I've seen everything. Until I saw this. Then I've seen everything. He managed to lose his super bantamweight championship to a relatively an unknown mid-level prospect, Emmanuel Navarte. Never would have seen it coming, but any given Sunday, as they say. That's why fighters fight. That's why teams play each other, because if you look at paper, you don't know what happens. Now, there were 100 great finishes around MMA, but my finish of the weekend comes in the world of boxing. This is the finish of the weekend.
Overhand right on his chin.
Timber, boom.
My goodness.
When you see that, that's a knockout of the year. You
Wow.
worry. We got a monster, baby. I told everybody.
Everyone wondered if the right hand was going to be okay after his last fight. I would say so.
Yeah, he tested it.
And Mason Menard just collapsed again here ringside, as they're still taking a look at him, the doctors. He is not in good shape.
Oh, man. We certainly hope that he is okay. He just went down and bam. As exciting as this looks, you worry about Menard. But man, was that a one-punch knockout sensation.
I mean, he said when he fights, he wants to be on SportsCenter top 10 each and every time. He's way on his way here in the States to doing that.
This knockout should make SportsCenter. That's 3 titles in what, 20 seconds?
Yeah.
Man. What can we analyze?
A little longer than that.
What can we really break down? I mean, he just caught him with a perfect overhand right. I mean, that's it. What else are we going to say?
Holy smokes. And to let a little secret out of the bag, looking in. Here's the bag the secret's in, and I'm letting the secret out. I talked to Tiafomo during the week. We exchanged info. We discussed him calling in because he lives out in Vegas. He is a Brooklyn boy, though, so that's the connection with me, at least. And I'm working on it. I got to talk to his dad, who's his PR person at Top Rank Boxing, and hopefully Tiafomo will be on. Now, look, I want to remind all of you to please share this. Pretty please. Also, coming up after me, Pinups, Cool Cats, and Comics. Another fantastic show right here on Strong Island. I want you guys to watch and share that show too. I know I ask so much. Share 2 shows. Oh, such a hard life, right? I ask for so much. Check out Psyche Prods on Facebook. check out CycloneComedy.com. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about the ladies, finally. Women Strong, right after this.
Hi, I'm Jim Miller.
This is Dan Merigliotta.
I'm Derek Munson.
I'm Nick the Carney Lentz, and you're locked into the cage with Cyclone.
Alrighty, so here's the deal. We all know that Greg Hardy is, thank you very much, Denise. You should have seen it, Denise. Anyways, we all know that the first ESPN card in Brooklyn is January 19th. It's coming up fast. We all know that Rachel Ostovich was originally scheduled to be on the card against Paige Van Zandt. We all know that also on the card being put on there is Greg Hardy. Now, if you don't know, Greg Hardy beat the living snot out of his former girlfriend when he was in the NFL. The NFL tossed him. He was convicted on 2 charges of domestic violence. Greg Hardy should still be sitting in a jail cell. But, you know, the law is what the law is, as far as I'm concerned. Does the man deserve a second chance after beating the piss out of a woman? Yeah, he does. But he doesn't deserve the right to be in the UFC or to be in any organization. Not Bellator, not one championship, nowhere. Your second chance, if you blow it that bad, flip burgers and Mickey D's, drive a garbage truck, work for the post office. Then you can truly go postal. Do something else. Have a 9-to-5 normal job. People do it around the planet. There are 8 billion people on this planet doing 9-to-5 jobs. That is the way Greg Hardy should have his second chance. But be that as may, then there's this whole thing. How can they put Greg Hardy, a domestic abuser, on with Rachel Ostovich, who just got put in a hospital because of her ex-husband? Now look, UFC 231, if you guys watched the pre-fight press conference, not a single member of the media asked Dana and put his feet to the coals about it. Not one question. Turns out that the media was told ahead of time that that is not a topic to bring up. I get it. To be credentialed by the UFC is a highly sought after thing. Why, Denise? Because if you bite the hands that feeds you, you will lose your credentials. And in this business, if you can't work for the top line company and be in the back, sit Cateside, do your job, it's a good chance you can get fired. So you can't, it's a tight wire walk, and I understand where the media is. The post-fight presser, a couple guys in the media did get Dana and like Sean El-Shadi, for one, just kept asking him about it. And Dana flipped out about it. Rachel's okay with it. She said he didn't beat her. It's okay. Put him on the card. I don't care. Here's the thing. Who is Rachel Ostovich fighting? Who's she fighting, people? She's fighting Paige Van Zandt. If you don't know, Van Zandt's not Paige's real last name. She changed her name in high school. If you don't remember why she changed her last name, if you haven't read her book, it's because she was repeatedly beaten and gang raped. Another situation, I assure you, as I am sitting right here in Massapequa right now in the NFL, and Rudy, that's too many chances. The fact of the matter is, I assure you, nobody, especially Dana White, asked Paige Van Zandt what she felt about Greg Hardy being on the damn card. Look, there's going to be 14 consecutive weeks of shows coming up. You want to put Greg Hardy on the card because he's on the roster? Pick another one. Pick the one the following week. It didn't have to be this one. That is the point that all of us are saying. Not that I Hey, Denise. No, that's not his personal life. The fact of the matter is, when you're in the public eye, you can't get away with stuff like that. If the NFL tosses you out, and the NFL has a beautiful array of criminals. It's like if you go to the supermarket and you get up to the cash register and you see like all the candy bars, the array of candy bars. That's the NFL with criminals. They have an array of criminals like the candy bars. You can't have that. It's that toxic. No, Joe, it is my Chuck Liddell hat. Okay? Chuck Liddell fan, ride or die forever. Okay. Another thing about the women, thanks, Rudy. The whole thing with Joanna and Valentina, Joanna said if she wins, she is the female GOAT. And that got me thinking, who exactly is the Mount Rushmore of female MMA fighters? Now look, because of what she did, Rousey has to be on it. Whether I like her personally or not, Ronda's on that list. Cyborg, because of how freakishly great she is on that list. That leaves 2 left on the Mount Rushmore, and there is a plethora of women you can choose from. Okay, you could choose Misha, you could choose Holly, Kat Zingano, you can pick Liz Caramouche, you could pick Marlos Conan, you could pick Joanna, you could pick Amanda Nunes, who has arguably a right to be on the list because she retired Ronda and she retired Misha. So if you're going to say Ronda and Misha deserve, you got to put the one that retired both of them up there too. And if Amanda beats Cyborg in January, she has to be on because then she takes out the top 3. So, Tara LaRosa is a fantastic fighter. Megumi Fuji is one of the original OGs for women's MMA. She has to be considered. It's really, really hard to pick out that last 1 or 2. Especially if Amanda beats Cyborg and Joanna either goes back to 115, which, here's the thing. She said 100 times this weight cut was better for her to be at 125. Dana wants her at 115. She's toying with 115. I get it, Rose Namajunas beat you twice. Why go back? Why go back to a weight cut that basically kills yourself? Makes no sense. Now look at 125. She's a small 125er. The girls there are bigger. Okay, you got Aspen Ladd. You got, obviously, Catlin. You got Jessica I, who, like I said before, should be fighting Valentina for the title next. I think Joanna, I give her the edge over Roxanne Modafferi, but there's a lot of girls at 125 that would give Joanna trouble. She's stuck. She's kind of in like a 115, 125. If there was a 120 division, Joanna would be perfect. I don't know what you mean, Denise. But anyways, moving along. And we talk about criminals and women. And I hate to do another crime blotter. I mean, this isn't the TV show Law and Order. But there's a writer for Bloody Elbow. Okay. Ian Kidd. 30 years old. He's one of the reporters based out of Scotland. He got fired recently. And by recently, I mean middle of the week. Middle end of last week. Go ahead, ask me why he got fired. Why did he get fired? He got fired because for the last 12 years he's been collecting child porn. Guys, what in the blue hell? MMA is starting to look like every other sport. Domestic abusers. I mean, geez, you want to add another female fighter? Look at Andrea Lee, who got wrecked by her maybe neo-Nazi, maybe not neo-Nazi boyfriend. She's another one. Now child porn charges? Slippery slope MMA is on. And that's not good business. That's not good. I can assure you, sponsors, if you commit crimes like this, will run. You're right. It's not just sick January. It's freaking nuts. Okay? It's absolutely nuts. But what we're going to do is take another quick break, and when we come back, we're going to start wrapping this shing ding up right after this.
I'm Dennis Bermudez. Hi, I'm Creepy Ian McCall. Yo, I'm Kelvin Gastelum. This is Mark Goldberg.
Yo, I'm the world's most dangerous man, Hall of Famer Ken Shamrock, and you're getting tapped out in the cage with Cyclone.
I'm back. Who else were you expecting? Just another quick reminder. EffectiveAggression.com. If you like Aquaman, if you like superheroes, this is a perfect Christmas gift for your loved one. Plus, you'll be helping a great charity, because that's where the money goes. Nothing is kept in-house. All goes to charity. So be a nice person. Be charitable. By the way, also, if you haven't by now, click share or click share again. Tell your friends to share it as well. So, today's December 10th. Let's take a look at what happened on this day in MMA history.
Happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary.
The charity, Denise, is helping out cancer. Well, we're not helping cancer. We're helping stomp out and knock out cancer. I mean, cancer does enough on its own. We don't need to help cancer, but we will defeat cancer. And there's a whole bunch of other gloves on the site. Celebrities, athletes, you name it, it's on there. Check it out, EffectiveAggression.com. So anyways, like I said, on this day in MMA history, in 2018, Fight Night 16 went down. And that was the fight for the troops when the UFC went down to Charlotte, North Carolina, put on a great show for the troops. And when you think military, you think guys that are strong, never getting hurt. Funny thing is, on that fight card, 6 guys wound up leaving the octagon injured and going on the shelf for a while. Kind of ironic, if you will. Josh Kochak now that I could get his name right. KO Yoshiki Yoshida, first round finish. In 2011, UFC 140 went down on this date. That's when John Jones put Lyoto Machida to sleep. Say what you will about steroided Lyoto Machida. The fact of the matter is he went out on a shield. He refused to tap. And he went out. And look, there's something really masculine, really good about not tapping out. Frank Mir beat Big Nog, and Little Nog beat Tito Ortiz. I think that was like the 4th time the Nog brothers were on the same card together. And then 2 years ago today, wow, time flies, UFC 206 went down. That's when Max Holloway became interim champ, beating Pettis. Cub Swanson in one of the best fights ever that I watched. Unanimous decision over Doo Ho Choi. And Kevin Gastelum retired Tim Kennedy. That was all on this day in MMA history. Now, like I said, because of last week's no raffle, doing the raffle still, but what we're going to do is something different. One person isn't winning a prize. The 2 people that numbers land on are both going to win a prize because I'm so charitable. And for those of you in the future, go on Psyche Prods on Facebook. When you see the Facebook question thread, send in one question on any combat sport, and you automatically are entered in the raffle. All right, so winner number 1 is number 5, Brandon May. You're automatically a winner. Let me just mark it down. Is Max Holloway the greatest featherweight of all time? No. I know right now there's a lot of hype. Is he? He beat Jose Aldo twice, so he should be. No. Masakazu Imanari has to be considered. Patricio Pitbull should be considered in that list. Jose Aldo. Kid Yamamoto, who recently passed away a couple weeks ago. He should be considered. There's a lot of featherweights. Now, if you want to say the greatest UFC featherweight, maybe. I still give a slight edge to Jose Aldo. Maybe an edge to Frankie Edgar. But there's a lot to choose from. Okay? That's winner number 1. Winner number 2 is going to be number 4, Marty Huggins. I like how everybody asked about Max. Jeez Louise. Your question: do you feel Max is the GOAT of the featherweight division, even though he hasn't rematched Conor? And see, I'm not going to call him McNuggets, all right? Just a side note, I think there might be a split up between Conor and John Kavanaugh. There's a story coming out, but yeah, I think there might be a split in SBG Ireland. Anyways, is he the GOAT? No. And you can't really call someone the GOAT until they're retired. All right? Because you're still active, you're still fighting. If Max has, let's say, 8 more fights and he gets smoked in all 8, that's what you remember. You remember his last 8. Look at my guy Chuck Liddell. His last 4 of 6 fights he got destroyed in. Not counting the Tito mess, because as far as I'm concerned, that doesn't count. So is he the GOAT? No. Look, I'd want him to trilogy Jose. I'd want him to face Moicano. I'd want him to face Frankie Edgar. I'd want him to face Zabit. Those, if he ran the table against all those, maybe I'd concede it. But remember, the GOAT list overall in any organization, if you're going to mix them all together, Edwin Foliang in one championship has to be considered. He's freaking sick. So yeah, Marty and Brandon, you are the two winners. You both win something. Is there time to do this? Yes. I will do another spotlight. And there is no graphic for spotlight because I didn't send it in. I wasn't sure on time. James Wilson. We talked a lot of boxing, and we're going to end the show with boxing. Let me just fix this. James Wilson is a boxer right now who is 17-4 in MMA and kickboxing. He is, if you want to get in the ring with me, Denise, that would require you to come to Brooklyn. Okay? He's in Australia. He is an undefeated boxer at 7-0. 6 just vicious freaking first round knockouts. He is a beast. He is the number 69 ranked heavyweight around the globe. You talk about GOATs? Around the planet, he is the 69th ranked heavyweight on this planet. Top 100 means you're a badass. Top 69 means you're climbing really fast. He is someone who wants to move completely from kickboxing and boxing solely just into MMA. I think if he does make that move, his stand-up is dangerous. I mean, he just knocks people out. He is like Miley Cyrus saying, I come in like a wrecking ball. Well, that's what this guy does. Figure Mike Tyson in the 80s, but taller, bigger, wider, and white. That's what he is. James the Beast Wilson. I think you guys should keep your eyes out. Now, as we wrap up, yes, he is a beast. I want to once again say, I hope you guys bid on this and every other glove that is on effective aggression. Help knock out cancer. That's what we have to do. Marty, Brandon, your prizes will be in the mail shortly. I want to remind everybody, after me, coming up in just a little bit, Pinups, Cool Cats, and Comics. One of the best shows here on Strong Island. You guys are going to keep it here. You guys are going to watch that show. You guys are going to share that show as well. Okay? And as far as I'm concerned, for me, I'll be back here next week. And as I close every week, I want to once again remind each and every one of you, just because you right there, are not an athlete, doesn't mean you can't be an athletic supporter. Bye-bye.